Hey all you Kryptonians, what's going on? It's Alec here from Circa Trading. Hope you guys are all doing well. It's the 20th of February 2018. I'm just having a look at Ethereum at the moment over here. You can see that where the price is trading right now is right down back into these pretty large support levels down here. If you can see these last two little support levels that we had that anchored the price for this last big rally to the top side over here. So the market's trading right back down into those levels, and you can see obviously that these were pretty reactive levels. Every time we touch these levels, we get these nice sort of explosions out of it, and the market's fallen back down into these levels with some pretty fading volume. You can see that the market was rallying out of these levels with quite substantial volume, and we've now just moved back into these levels with really weak volume. So I think this is a high probability area here that we could see Ethereum take a nice little bounce. And then also you can see the price action when we were coming down. You can see that we had this little leg down, and then we actually created like a little wedge pattern here, and we've broken through that. But if you take your Fibonacci extension tool and you measure that extension, you'll notice that the 127 extension is coming in right at these same levels here. So if you draw yourself like a kill zone there and look for some bullish price action and look for some strength in Ethereum, and we could be coming all the way back up into these levels again, or up into these previous highs over here. So there's a pretty nice risk reward on this, because you can get your stops a little bit below the kill zone. If we get a break and close below these levels, you can look to start exiting the trade. So I mean, you can see that we've got a pretty nice risk reward on this if we looking for something like this. So this is a pretty nice level. We need these lows to hold, and if they do and we start getting some reversals out of it, we could see a nice little rally up. The underlying trend of Ethereum is obviously really strong. We've had some pretty bullish price action on Ethereum, so these lows are pretty crucial for the bullish price action of Ethereum. We sort of need to hold these lows, and there's a couple of really cool indicators and confirmation signals that we may actually start seeing a bounce off here. When you take the strength of these levels and then the declining volume as we move back into these levels, is a pretty good sign for potential bounces from this level. Obviously, you always got to prepare for the worst, and if these levels fail, you have to have an exit strategy to get out of the trades. But these are this very interesting level for Ethereum. So I just want to quickly move on to Bitcoin. There's some interesting things happening in the price of Bitcoin that I just want to discuss with you guys. Okay guys, so if we look at Bitcoin over here, the first thing I want to draw is just draw in this trend line of this bearish trend, and you can see that the price is moving straight up into this level here. You can see that if we look at the last swing, we had this lower low, a retracement back up, a lower high, and then another lower low. So if we draw our Fibonacci retracement tool from the swing high down to the swing low, you'll see that we're in the 61.8786 sell zone. So you can bracket this out as a potential area to sell. But I mean, obviously that's an extremely large area, so if you want to go down to the smaller time frames to sort of narrow down that kill zone for potential selling, you can do that. So if we go down to the 1 hour chart and we just map sort of what's been happening in the 1 hour chart, you can see that we had a pretty nice bullish trend from these lows that we made at the beginning of February. And the last swing you'll see is here, we had that higher low, higher high, back down into another higher low. But if we take our Fibonacci extension and we look for where this specific run could end, we'll see that we get this 127, 1618 Fib extension levels. And then if we go back to the daily chart, structure on the daily chart that's lining up with those levels, you'll see. So if we just stretch this sell zone out here, you'll see that we've coming into some serious resistance over here too, with this little area. And then if you go even further back, you'll notice that we've had touches on this level multiple times that have caused the price to react. So we had a lot of support coming in from these levels over here. So if the market comes back up into those levels, I would be very surprised if we just sort of get a rocket ship out of this, because the price has been relatively weak over the last couple of months. So you should see some sort of retracement back in, and then hopefully we get a sort of maybe a little inverse head and shoulders here, and we get some movement to the top side. So Bitcoin is, in my opinion, looking like it needs to correct a little bit. The short term is extremely overbought at the moment. If we plug on the volumes again, you'll see that, again, this rally is with declining volumes. We had the fall down that were a pretty decent volume, and then if you look at the volume from the start of the rally, you can see that we've just had these declining volumes, continuously declining volumes, and we're coming back up into some pretty major trend line resistance, Fibonacci resistance, structure resistance. We've got an overbought market. So, I think Bitcoin may be ready for another little dip back down, and then hopefully finding some support there and, eventually breaking this trend line resistance, and then we start moving back up to the 20,000 mark. But I just don't think that this sort of V-shaped recovery that we're seeing here is sustainable with the amount of volumes. The volumes need to pick up, and we need to push through this trend line resistance before you can really say that, Bitcoin's on another tear. So be cautious on Bitcoin around these levels. Maybe it's not a bad idea to take a bit of profit off the table if you were smart enough to buy it down at the 7,000, 6,000 level. And that's about it. That's about it for the new trades today. Hopefully you guys found some value in the analysis here, and plan your trade and trade your plan, and good luck in the markets.